Last time on Shadow Piece, the battle between Hyrdine and Loki has been approaching its climax, with both sides getting more and more exhausted. One wrong move could mean the end, so Prince Loki decided to use most of his remaining stamina to get rid of Hyrdine once and for all. He gave up so much. Not only did Fleet Admiral Loki get knocked out of the arena, but he is also suffering from the drawback, the consequences that turned him basically into a normal-sized human. All these sacrifices, and yet Hyrdine remains standing. But in fact, he did get hurt a lot. Now his only method of movement is a slow and careful approach. While all of this was going on, Absalom and Sanji left the vicinity to prepare for the Cook's battle against Magnus. This visiting giant is a true monster. When talking about the participants, both Absalom and Moria agreed that he was leagues above any other fighter in the Winter Solstice Festival tournament. The Dark Messiah and the student, the Sweet Cook, will have to come up with a genius plan to win their semi-final and enter the final to win both the Devil Fruit and the offer to get one wish granted by King Odin. But first, let's finish watching Hyrdine's match. Only 2 Lokis remain standing, but that is still one more fighter than the lone warrior Hyrdine. Well, he is only alone in the tournament. Normally, he has other people by his sides as well. The longer this battle goes on, the Sin of Pride notices his mind drifting away to other things. I think my crew against the 5 Lokis would be our victory. No, I don't need to think that. I know it. He alone was capable of this much already, so obviously together with his Nakama it should be quite a lot easier, but then there's also the fact that Bronya damaged Loki quite a lot. Normally getting sidetracked in a battle would surely mark his downfall. However, seeing the Prince of Elbaf's panicked state, this assures him that he can relax a bit and take things a bit slower. Loki is frantically using his remaining powers, but after that ancient giant fist, all that's left in him is increasing or decreasing the size of the arena a tiny bit. You could say it is only a mild inconvenience, and the same is true about the last remaining copy of Loki. In his words, he is the leader of the biggest bounty hunter organization, and he is not only a political leader, in fact he is the strongest hunter of them all. Right now though, well, as he is linked to the main Loki from the Shadow Piece universe, he can't do much anymore. He runs towards Hyrdine ready for one last showdown. It feels like a repeat from his last fight, but Hyrdine just accepts the damage from the attacks. Against Tyr, it was a matter of respect, and now he just can't be bothered to dodge. He takes a deep breath, and when he feels the bounty hunter's fist on his body, he launches his very own knockout punch. Haki slowly covers his fist, just showing even more signs of his fatigue, but that doesn't matter in this moment. Feeling the skin of Loki fills Hyrdine with happiness. Soon he can just lie down and sleep until tomorrow. The next day will surely come for him. Loki, on the other hand, is experiencing the exact opposite feeling. He is filled with despair. His secret leader has clearly ordered him to win and get the fruit, whatever it costs. And that is the only reason that mysterious person is willing to help the heir to the throne of the nation of the giants. The prince couldn't care less about some weird devil fruit, but that is the only thing that guy wants. And he said he knows where Loki has to go to fulfill his goal. It does seem all a bit suspicious that this one man knows something none of the other versions could find out in their universes, even with their vast information networks, but it is his only lead, so he has to follow that. One last time he has to use whatever strength he has remaining to win against the terrifying warrior that is the juggernaut known as the Sin of Pride, Hyrdine. While his body remains in the human size, Loki extends both of his arms this time. They become more and more like tough noodles, and when they are long enough to reach whatever is remaining of the battlefield, he starts flailing them around wildly. Probably for the final time, destruction and chaos veils the entire arena. The rubble gets knocked around and turns into projectiles, and in addition the long arms basically act like whips, lashing out at Hyrdine from every single direction. Loki has a lot of wide range attacks, and Tournament doesn't work to his benefits. He seems to be more suited for large scale battlefields like wars where he has to fight against many people at once. However, excuses won't help anyone. Excuses never help to begin with. Loki has been using excuses for decades. to dodge his responsibilities and so many other things. This tournament was his big chance to turn things around, but things never worked out for him. His failed marriage with Charlotte Lola, the loss of a family member, and this cursed devil fruit that gave him new hope to live a better life in another universe. Prince Loki never got the chance to catch a break. This is all just an act of desperation to really give it his all, but effort and heart can't give you what you want every time. Hyrian simply grabs the elongated limbs and starts spinning around these body parts. Like a pro athlete, the Sin of Pride adds rotation after rotation, until he reaches a speed perfect for what he wants to do to end it. This position, this timing, this angle, it's perfect. So long, Prince Loki. With the most ferocious warrior scream, he throws the original Loki off the arena like a cannonball. The giant shoots through the air. It is already clear that this is the end of the battle. It all will end in a ring out. But the thing everybody is still waiting to see is why Hyrian threw Loki down this exact path. Well, they are quick to realize the reason, and so does the king of the nation. Odin remains sitting in his elevated seat, and when his son comes flying towards him, he gently catches him. When Loki is his normal size, he is about as tall as his father, but right now he's only as big as he was when he was born. Winning the fight and sending his opponent into the arms of his parents, this truly is an act befitting of the Sin of Pride. The audience starts cheering for Hyrian until he drops on the ground himself. Completely exhausted, the tank is empty and he just starts snoring. With this, the first semi-final is over, and our first finalist has been decided. The member of the new Giant Warrior Pirate and the Fleet of Death is the victor of this combat. All of his Nakama now come to pick up their captain and carry him off. What an incredible battle. The destruction was on a completely different level compared to the previous fights, so the repairing time will probably take a bit longer. Magnus, the visiting giant, is already standing on the sidelines. His body is itching for another fight. A fight that can prove him as a brave and powerful warrior, just like his father. All the noise from the cheers has reached the blonde duo, signaling them that the current round is over and now their time has come. They already talked about multiple strategies, but Sanji couldn't help himself but notice Absalom's anxiety. If your teacher is nervous, it doesn't really help you to keep her calm either. And knowing that your best chance lies in using unperfected techniques, well, it doesn't paint the best picture for the future. For just a few seconds, the topic of cheating also came up. With Maria's power, they could easily enhance Sanji's powers with some sort of shadows. Or with Absalom's power, they could trick everyone with his nothingness technique. As pirates, cheating isn't unthinkable, but the gentleman that Sanji is doesn't want to win with underhanded methods. And the Dark Messiah respects that conviction. Slowly, they make themselves on the way. The last battle of the day, the last semi-final, the Winter Solstice Festival tournament is progressing smoothly. Some fights went on for a bit longer than expected, so the sun has already set, but the fights continue no matter what. In the spectator seats, Liv has snuggled herself to Maria's body, and the other children have already gone back to the house of Bronya. The small demon that is known as Liv could not be separated from the Shadow Emperor, so the Iron Maiden just accepted the situation. After all, she knows the Strawhat Pirates are good people in general. Saying goodbye to her new friend Perona took a bit of time. It's not like they won't see each other again, but it do be like that sometimes. Not mentioning the fact that our group of pirates also stays at Bronya's house, so it's kind of weird for these two characters. Brook is just casually enjoying the show. With Loki's loss, he still has to keep in mind whatever he overheard in the forest. However, knowing the might of his captain and vice captain, he doesn't feel threatened or scared in the slightest. Looking at Maria now, one would never think that he is a horrible, sadistic pirate when it comes to his enemies. A slight smile is on his face, and you can feel the care in his eyes. His movements are extremely careful as not to disturb the small giant's sleep, but he still wants to talk with his daughter. Perona, with Hookback gun, we have space open on the Strawhat Ark, right? The Ghost Princess quickly catches onto her adoptive father's idea. Even if that guy was still on the crew, we would have a lot of room on the ship, but I think without him it's going to feel a lot better. Seeing her captain and father take care of a youngling all happily like that also gives her joy. Just remembering how lazy he was in the past compared to now, even a negative girl like Perona can feel positive emotions. Perona knows what Maria went through before he found her, but he was never sad around her. Whenever they were together, he put up his happy and brave face, but what she sees now is genuine happiness. Defeating Kaido really changed Gecko Moria. But here comes Sanji. The arena is about to be ready. The blonde cook and the dark-haired woodcutter both are present for the battle. Can Maria's happiness continue, or will despair come flying towards the group known as the Strawhat Pirates? We will learn that exact fact in the next episodes of Shadow Piece. But that's all from me for today. I hope you enjoyed this episode of Shadow Piece and the fight between Hyrule and Prince Loki, because things took turns that nobody expected. The shift fruit was a big reveal, but Hyrule still managed to pull through and earn himself the victory. But the big question is, will Hyrule face off against Magnus or Sanji in the final of the Winter Solstice Festival tournament? But you can only find that out if you continue to watch the future episodes of Shadow Piece. So, see you in the next weeks. Until then, take care. Pyro, out. Bye!